The following is an exclusive presentation of CBS Sports. From the campus of Nebraska at Omaha in Omaha, Nebraska, it's the South Dakota State Jackrabbits versus the Nebraska-Omaha Mavericks. Sponsored by Chevrolet. America is on the move and Chevrolet is supplying the wheels. Chevrolet and you taking charge. And by Anheuser-Busch St. Louis Brewers of Michelob. Some things speak for themselves.
It's a typical fall afternoon here in Omaha, Nebraska. The temperature 48 degrees, the forecast partly cloudy skies. Hello everyone, I'm Charlie Neal, and we're glad to be here in Omaha, Nebraska for this Division II contest. It's the first game of a doubleheader here on CBS. Later, you'll see the Penn State-Alabama contest. But as far as our contest here, Nebraska-Omaha and South Dakota State both coming in with identical 4-1 overall records. UNO is tied for the lead at the top of the North Central Conference, while South Dakota State comes in with one loss. My colleague today is Steve Grody. He's down on the sidelines now. Let's go down to him for today's matchup. Steve?
Thanks, Charlie. I'm here with the opposing head coaches. Sandy Buddha, appropriately attired for today's homecoming. Sandy, you're known as a riverboat gambler. Should we expect a few fireworks today?
Well, Steve, we always try to have fun out on the football field on this level of competition and do the unusual, do the weird, and you can expect some fireworks out of us if the situation's right this afternoon.
This ball club has been a nemesis to your team. They've beaten you the majority of the times you played, especially quarterback Mike Law.
He's an outstanding football player, kind of an ad-libber, a Fran Tarkenton type player who will bust a play and make a big play out of it. And we've got a lot of respect for South Dakota State. We're going to have to play extremely well to win this football game.
Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Over here, Wayne Hensel, the head coach of South Dakota State. Coach, you've been a pretty poor first quarter ball club, particularly offensively. Can we look for a little bit more of an open game today?
We're going to open her up from the very first play. We're going to come out with a 3 wide receiver offense, and we may even throw in first play.
Uh-oh, the alumni won't be too mad about that, will they?
I sure hope not. We're going to try to shake loose a little bit. We can't wait the second half, particularly when we're playing a team as good as Omaha. We just got to come out after them.
Coach, thanks a lot. Best of luck to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. You heard what both coaches had to say. Wayne Hensel said he may just come out and throw the bomb. It's the Nebraska-Omaha Mavericks against the South Dakota Jackrabbits. Charlie Neal and Steve Grody with you here in Omaha, Nebraska, and we're getting ready for the 15th meeting of these two schools, Caniglia Stadium. And that is Jeff Pate, the tight end, who will kick it off. For Nebraska-Omaha, the deep man is Rick Wager. He has it about 3 yards deep in his own end zone. He will not run it out. The ball will be brought out to the 20-yard line. First down and 10 for South Dakota State. Let's look at their offense. The quarterback is Mike Law. He's a good one, a senior. Rick Wager, along with Sundin Prout and Ethier, a good wide receiver. The offensive line that averages 241 pounds. Dennis Thomas is the tight end. There you see Pearson, Ryder, Mounts, Orr, and Deesh. Those are the guys up front. First down and 10 at their own 20. South Dakota State with the ball. Mike Law is the quarterback. 6 foot, 198-pounder, a senior from Urbandale, Iowa. His backs are split behind him. As Wenzel said, they're going to come out on first down trying to throw, but he has to run out of the pocket, and he comes up to the 27, 28-yard line. An 8-yard gain on the first play. And let's look at the defense for Nebraska-Omaha, the Mavericks. There's the 3-4. McDonald, Bruner, and Ballard up front. There's the linebackers that average 208 pounds. The secondary, also a good one, with Nielsen, Root, Hutton, and Bryant. Second down. I formation, deep back in the I, about 8 yards back. And the pitch comes to Wager. Wager bounces off one man, but cannot get away from the wave of Maverick defense. And there's Carlson in on the stop. And let's look at the standings coming into the day's game in the North Central Conference. Nebraska-Omaha tied with St. Cloud State for the top spot. You see South Dakota State with that one loss, that one coming last week to St. Cloud State. Here's the rest of the North Central Conference. Augustana, South Dakota, North Dakota, Colorado State, and Morningside is winless in the conference. We're in the first quarter, just getting underway. 3rd down and 2. I formation, South Dakota State.
Larry, if you hear me, turn up your microphone.
And a deep pitch this time for South Dakota State. That went to Fisher. Root on the stop.
Well, this is a great play by Bob Roop. It looks like this will go for the first down. Roop comes in. Here you see him coming in from the outside of the screen. Beats the block by the offensive end. Comes in, makes a tackle. Big 3rd down play.
So that'll force them to punt. That was Sunded on that last carry. The punter is Bittiger. And Bittiger, line drive kick. It bounces. And Terry Allen lets it get by him, and it's going to be all the way back inside the 10-yard line. That's where the Nebraska-Omaha Mavericks will have to start to work at their own 8-yard line. A 62-yard punt that time by Dave Bittinger. And we look at the Nebraska-Omaha offense. Randy Narron is their quarterback. Gilman, a good set of running backs, along with Barnett. And they're the receivers, McKee and Quates. Quates is also a good one, and he is a sophomore. The offensive line that's averaging 248 pounds. Peterson, he's a big one. Only 6'10", 280 pounds. We'll watch him on the right side and tackle. Narron, the quarterback. Lone setback. Gives off to the fullback, Barnett. Barnett still on his feet, and he spins across the 20-yard line for a first down. Barnett up to the 23-yard line. Roberts on the stop, 16-yard run.
Well, Barnett had his best game of the year last week. Carried the ball 24 times. He's been rather inconsistent in all phases of the game this year. This is the problem that the South Dakota State defense has had, right up the middle. Obviously, a big play first down gets them out of that deep situation.
It certainly does, and that brings up a first down and 10. The ball resting at the 24-yard line. In motion is Gilman. Back to pass is Narron. He looks, he has a man out there. Intercepted. Jim Smith with the interception. The intended receiver was Quates. And let's look at it once again from the end zone.
Well, maybe they know something about Smith. He's had a bad hamstring. He's an All-American junior college transfer. This is a very well-thrown pass, and in all honesty, just a great defensive play. If that ball's not intercepted, it goes right into the receiver's hands, and it looks like touchdown.
And for the year, that is the 7th interception for Narron. There's no score. We're in the first quarter here in Omaha. Second possession of the afternoon for the South Dakota State offense, the Jackrabbits. The first time they wound up having to punt.
Charlie, you get the impression we're in for a wide open ball game. Both teams ready to put it up in the air, throw caution to the wind.
Sunded in motion, back to pass. Law rolls right, throws, has it complete, just shy of the first down. And let's look at the Division II top 10. Southwest Texas State. 4 teams from this North Central Conference are in the top 10. There you see UCal Davis, North Alabama, the rest of the top 10. Clarion State, Nebraska-Omaha is in there. Virginia Union, North Dakota State, Cal Poly. 7, 8, and the 10th rated team are from the North Central Conference.
It's been a topsy-turvy top 10. 5 of the teams in the top 10 lost last week.
We'll tell you just about why it's important to be in that top 10 in a moment. The first down gained by South Dakota State. And one of the reasons it's important to be in that top 10 at the end of the season is because of the playoffs, the Division II playoffs, and they're going to pick 8 teams, so it's very important to be there.
Well, in this conference, it's also very important to win the conference, because if the winner of the conference does not go to the playoffs, no one else from the conference will qualify.
Law has Prout up front in the eye.
Look how deep the tailback set.
That's Wager, that's right. And And he throws an out pattern. It's complete to Sundit, and Sundit is struggling close to another first down. He's inside the 45 to about the 44-yard line before Kirk Hutton comes up to make the stop.
Well, you can see they're really opening it up. Law's very, very good quarterback. This is their biggest concern, as head coach Buddha told you. They've run him on the sprint out. He's thrown a quick out. You can see he's got all the tools.
It'll be second down, close to 1 yard to go. Less than a yard, in fact. The pitch deep to Wager. He has the first down. Cuts to the outside, still on his feet, and down inside the 40-yard line. A good run by Wager, and on the stop is Kevin Coleman, a freshman. He's a good one, a linebacker from Omaha. Let's look at the records between these two schools. South Dakota State leading in the series. The last time they met was September of '82. South Dakota State won it 22-11. Actually, I was told earlier that it was the 15th meeting, and it's 10-3-1.
Now, even the public address announcer had it 9-3-1 to start, so there is some confusion on those stats.
Quick drop, Law, Ethier on the outside, and Ethier is at the 34-yard line with his 16th reception of the year. Mike Ethier, a senior from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Well, Ethier is the kind of kid that's gotten better every single year. He's from Winnipeg. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are very interested in him. The thing the pros like is the fact that he has gotten better every single year.
He's 6'2", 189 pounds, good size for receivers. You look at Mike Law. Sundit still running, and Sundit just shy of the 30-yard line. Stopped at about the 31. And just to talk about this conference, you talk about Division II football. You know, there are a lot of players from this conference in the National Football League. There you see some of them. Billy Kinney, who's with
Kansas
City Chiefs, and some of the other players around the NFL. This school, Omaha, Nebraska-Omaha, has produced a couple themselves. Ethier far to the left side. Wing is on the right. In motion, that's Sundit. From the wing back position, Law rolls left. He looks like he wants to keep it. He gets around to the 30 and inside the 25 and steps out of bounds at the 25, but he has a first down. Mike Law on the keeper. And let's look at some more of those North Central players. There's Rod Cush with the Buffalo Bills, Jim LeClaire with the Cincinnati Bengals, Keith Nord with the Minnesota Vikings. They're all starters in the National Football League. Matthews with the Giants. Chuck Lowen, South Dakota.
Of course,
San Diego, rather.
Another Division II player, Kenny Anderson from Cincinnati Bengals, Augustana. Not such a bad player, huh?
No, indeed, not at all. Wager is the I-back. Sundit goes in motion. And it's Wager on a counter, and he is stacked up after a gain of about 1. One of the men to come up to hit him was Dan Nelson, the sophomore right cornerback, along with Coleman.
Let's take a look at it. This is the play that's so dangerous. When you give the ball to the tailback like this, you can see they've run the sprint draw, they've run the toss pitch. They give the ball on a counter like this, looking for the defense to over-pursue. Take a look at it from the ground level. This time, Kevin Coleman stayed home. Very good play defensively.
23 is Nielsen, you saw in there, the cornerback, the sophomore from Omaha. Fake draw, they have it complete to Wager. He's on his way inside the 15 and down to the 10-yard line. Goes Rick Wager, a junior before Jeff Nannon, the senior from Geneva, Nebraska, came up to make the stop. A 14-yard run.
This is really a well-executed play. They fake the draw, or they fake the tailback right here. Now, you can't see it on the screen, but they got two receivers out in the flats to occupy the defensive secondary, and they really hide the screenplay well. Good block by the offensive lineman. You can see two of them right there. They're on their way, and it looks like they're going to score in this first quarter.
Law in the passing department, 4 for 4 for 37 yards. He came into the game with a 56% completion rating so far this year. The deep pitch to Sundit. Sundit inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. And there's a penalty marker down. And let's see what the penalty marker is. It's holding against South Dakota State. Jay Rasmussen is the referee today. So that's the first penalty that's been dropped in this game. First penalty flag that we have seen. This drive started at the South Dakota State 35. They have now driven to the 8. Now there's a penalty flag.
Well, Charlie, Wayne Hensel told us that he was going to open up the offense and throw it a little bit more. But don't get confused. I think that he's going to open up the ball game throwing it simply to set up the run. They've had trouble running the football. Nebraska-Omaha is a good defensive front four. They're very strong. They've been that way historically. So I think we're going to see them run the ball a little bit more, probably more effectively as they open up with the pass.
At the 17-yard line. Sundit goes in motion. Law rolls left, throws.
Corner.
No good.
Oh.
He caught it, but he was out of the end zone. A good effort by Ethier. He was being covered by Nielsen.
Now this is a very tough call, Charlie, because as you'll see, when he slides on the ground as he catches this pass, and it's a perfectly thrown ball, he actually releases it before he makes his final cut. You can see that his legs are on the ground, but I think when he catches the ball, his shoulder is out of bounds. And when he caught it, he was out of bounds. Take a look at it from another angle. Make the decision for yourself.
Well, I believe it was the knees that got across the sideline marker. The feet were still on the playing field. Sundit in motion again. It's second down. Law again. He has a man in the middle. He throws for him, and he has it complete. It's the tight end in there, Dennis Thomas. And Thomas is inside the 5 to about the 3. Nannon on the stop. 14-yard gain.
Well, Charlie, this is the type of pass that is so easy to complete when you're throwing against defensive backs that are 5'10", 5'8", 5'11". You just throw it up in the air to Dennis Thomas. He's 6'3", 228. Does a good job catching the ball at its highest point like a receiver should. They haven't done many things wrong in this drive.
Third down. And 3. Now, I'm not exactly sure whether the chain, can they get a first down without scoring? It's so close to the first down marker between that and the end zone. We'll have to wait and see. Law rolls left, has time. He got it. He could have ran that in. He could have ran that in.
Yes, he could have.
And it's intercepted.
You know, he tripped and stumbled. I couldn't tell because I thought he was going to run it in. You're right. He could have got it into the corner of the end zone untouched, I believe. When he set up to throw it, he trips, and obviously this is going to affect the pass. But also, too, he did throw this into a lot of different there were 3 defensive players right there. In fact, there were so many I couldn't tell who picked it off when he first threw it.
I was going to say, I'm not sure who intercepted it anyhow. There's no score in our contest. 7:05 is the time remaining here in the first quarter. Well, there you look at him, Sandy Buddha, and you thought Tom Landry was the best dressed coach around the country, right? Tuxedo. Here's Barnett.
You gotta love Buddha's attitude, don't you?
Barnett around the left side, a pickup of a couple. So far, each team has turned the ball over once in today's contest.
Well, and continued bad luck in the first quarter for South Dakota State. Realized that they had scored just 9 points in the first quarter all year long, and obviously just blew a great chance to get on top early in this ball game.
So close yet so far away. I know Law wishes he had that last one back. Naran, the quarterback. The backs are close. This is Gilman. And Gilman across the 30, 40.
He's gone,
go
baby.
All the way unless he can be caught by Jim Smith. And Jim Smith pulls him down at the 18-yard line. 61-yard run for Bill Gilman, a junior from Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Take a look at it one more time. There wasn't much to do but just run the ball to the hole on this play. You can see the backside lineman pulling. A couple good blocks. One right there. There's a good block right there. And it's so tough to block those defensive backs who are in a 2-point stance. And now it's just a race to the corner. And this is what a good runner should do, is run away from the defense, but Smith just too quick.
The quick pitch, and it comes back to Gurney this time. And Gurney is down inside the 15, close to the 13-yard line. That's Gurley. Mark Gurley, a sophomore from Millet, Nebraska, 5'8", 192-pounder.
Charlie, was just a minute and a half ago, I was ready to chalk up a score for for Wayne Hensel's ball club. He probably can't believe this turnaround.
9 years as an assistant at South Dakota State, took over as head coach 2 years ago. 5:37, the time remaining in the first quarter. Second down, 5. Nebraska-Omaha with their best scoring threat, their second possession of the day. Looked like a mix-up in there, but they finally get the ball. I believe that's Barnett running very hard inside the 10-yard line. That is Barnett.
Dave Freemark comes in and makes the initial hit, but Freemark strong arms his way for a couple more yards. You know, it's been the inside long running play which has hurt this South Dakota State ball club early in the year. They had not given up a long one over the last couple of games, but obviously right up the gut is what they're having problems with.
Third down and 1 at the 9. The deep pitch.
He's
Gurley, touchdown. His first touchdown of the year.
Let's see who makes the big block here. It's one of the pulling linemen. There you see it right there on the outside. Another good block on the cornerback. I'll tell you what, I'd like to be running the ball for this offensive line today, Charlie.
They're running it very well. Gurley, Gilman, two of the best backs in the North Central Conference. And in to attempt the point after is Mark Pettit. He is 9 for 9, make it 10 for 10 this year.
Has this been a big turnaround?
Certainly has. Let's look at it once again.
I'll be interested to see how long it took him to score this touchdown, because it couldn't have been 2 minutes, 20 seconds after intercepting a pass in the end zone. Once again, you get the ball to the back this deep in the end zone. There you see a great block by Barnett, and there's nobody going to touch him. You can see both the linemen outside doing their job. Just walk it into the end zone.
7-0 is our score. Nebraska-Omaha has jumped on top with 4:45 remaining in the first quarter. It only took them 5 plays to go 80 yards. They used up 2 minutes and 20 seconds off the clock. Gurley with a 9-yard run, his first touchdown rushing of the 1983 season. And on the kickoff team, this is Jeff Pate to kick it off. It's going to go out of bounds. So it'll be brought out to the, they will kick it over with a 5-yard penalty. But you look at how quickly they struck on that drive and that big run, that 61-yarder. It was a big run by Gilman.
When the Nebraska-Omaha defense takes the field, we should tell you that it is a completely new defensive unit. They've lost 9 starters from last season's ball club, but I think it's an indication of how tradition carries on. They've always been a good defensive team. They were the #1 defensive team in the conference last year. They are now the #1 defensive conference team this year. They've always been good across the front line. This is one of the reasons why South Dakota State has a change in their offensive game plan.
Be a TV star, the theme coming into today's game around campus. And
they know us out here, Charlie. They got hi, Steve and Charlie.
Yes,
they did it right, too. Steve and Charlie.
Again, this is Wager at the 5. Wager upended at about the 22, 23-yard line. They'll mark it at the 24. So that's where South Dakota State will take over their 3rd possession of the afternoon. First down and 10 at their own 24-yard line. Their first drive ended after a 9-yard game with a punt. Their second one with an interception, and the chain gang is really dressed up for this occasion today. They're judges and lawyers along the sideline there, believe it or not.
and Buddha says they're the most legal chain gang in the country. He can't get a break from
the yard, right? That is Molitor on the run for South Dakota State. Al Molitor, a senior from Belgrade, Minnesota. Gary Keck, a junior from Grand Island, Nebraska. We're in Omaha, Nebraska. Al Caniglia Field, named after a young man who spent many years as a head football coach here at Nebraska-Omaha. A quick pass to the outside, overthrown, intended for Ethier. Just a little bit too much for him. Mike Ethier, the seniors. You look at Coach Buda, also in his tuxedo. And he's a happy man, I'll tell you. They're only ahead 7-0 in the first quarter. You would think it was about 30 seconds to go, and they were ahead 30-0. Right?
He's a real cheerleader on the sidelines. He lets his offensive coordinator call the offensive plays, his defensive coordinator call the defensive signals. He stands on the sidelines and thinks up trick plays. That's what he told us.
It's like Hank Stram down there, doesn't it? Third down conversion. South Dakota State's only 1 of 3.
Uh-oh, he's got a man here.
And he throws over the intended receiver, Wager. There was a man open. I think that was the tight end, right?
Tight end was open, and he couldn't get the ball to him. And then Wager had a straight line down the sideline to get deep, and then Wager stopped. Law threw it long. I'm surprised they didn't sprint out on that series. It was the play that I think has been most effective in the first quarter. Gives Law the option to pass a run, and he certainly has shown the ability to pick out the free receiver.
Bittinger with his second punt of the afternoon. He's standing back inside his own 15 at the 14-yard line. Line drive kick. Should be returnable. Allen has it. And he's across the 40 to about the 41-yard line. A 36-yard punt, 6-yard return by Allen. And when we come back, it'll be 3:47 left in the first quarter. Immediately following our contest, the third-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Ray Perkins takes his team into Penn State. Joe Paterno having a little problems this year, and they'd like to come up with a big win today. That would be a big feather in their cap if they could beat Alabama. That's next on CBS following our game. Also, first down 10. And that's Gilman. Already has run a 61-yarder this afternoon. He goes off the right side. Picks up about 6 yards on that run. It'll be second down and 4. Nebraska-Omaha leading 7-0. A 9-yard run by Gurley. Second down. And a deep pitch again. Gilman.
Look out.
He's finally brought down by Randy Perner at the 25-yard line, a 28-yard gain.
The biggest question mark coming into this season for Nebraska-Omaha is how their offensive line would perform. From the ground level picture, take a look at 51. Bruce Farrell out there makes the big block. They're not getting any run support from their outside people, and these offensive backs show a little speed when they get to the outside.
And Gilman has run the ball 3 times, has picked up 95 yards.
I think I'd call it quits. I'd take that 32-yard average per carry. He's going to get, it looks like he's going to get a lot more, doesn't it?
Well, this is Gurley this time, and Gurley is running well. And Gurley is down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Another first down for the Nebraska-Omaha team. Almost said North Dakota State.
Once again, no big secret here. Just good blocks. Look at the hole. I mean, how can you make a mistake?
Well, you got to remember there's Alberry on that left side. He's 6'5", 270, number 64 at left tackle. And you've got Peterson, number 73 on the right side, who's 6'10", 280. So the Beef brothers are at work.
They sure are, aren't they?
And this again is Gurley.
Same play,
Gurley,
same result.
And touchdown. 14 yards, his second touchdown of the afternoon and second touchdown of the year.
Well, this isn't going to look too good on the highlight film for South Dakota State tomorrow when they have their defensive meeting. But there's not going to be a guy touch him until he gets into the end zone. That's almost a little bit of a late hit right there.
It's homecoming here, and this is a good way to celebrate it, huh?
I mean to tell you.
Pettit to attempt the point after. He's 11 for 11, a 4-play, 59-yard drive. They strike quickly, 1:18 the time of the drive.
Well, take a look at it down in the trenches from a different viewpoint. Results will be the same. Nobody touches him. Boy, oh boy, this is a tough first quarter ball club, isn't it? South Dakota State just can't seem to get untracked. They haven't played well defensively or offensively in the first quarter. They're a team that has been behind in every game they've played. They've come from behind and won 4. They pretty much just ran out of time last week. It'll certainly be interesting to see the offensive plan of attack now.
Well, you saw the scoring drive, as I said, 4 plays, 59 yards. As you look at Buddha on the sidelines.
Yeah, you think there was something wrong.
Pate kicks off, and it's fumbled on the far sideline by number 24. That's Fisher.
And this
he
is
just can't hold on, and they're deep in their own territory at the 1-yard line.
Well, it's one thing to make a mistake, but it's another thing to not go back and get the ball. That ball went through his hands, as you'll see here. It goes through his hands. He's got plenty of time to go back, pick it up before it goes out of bounds. He obviously thought it was going to go into the end zone. When it goes out of bounds at the 1, they are in big, big trouble.
Now look at the stats there in the rushing department. 155 yards.
This is a South Dakota State defensive team.
Wager, safety. Is it a safety? Did he get out?
Not quite.
He got out to the 2. Boy, he was very close, I'll tell you.
This is a San Diego State defensive team that ranks second in the conference.
South Dakota State.
South Dakota State.
We'll go to San Diego next week.
All right. It's so cold here, I guess. It's so cold here, I guess I want to be in San Diego. They say this is a nice summer day today. They say you should come here in January. A little windier than normal for this time of the year in Omaha.
1:54 remaining in the first quarter. High formation. The South Dakota State. They trail 14-0. Backs against the wall. Losing the ball in his own end zone, and safety. Mike Law had the ball just slip from his hands as he was attempting to throw the pass, and he is dropped for a safety.
Well, it's cold and windy. I can tell you how cold your hands get from being down on the sideline to open the game, and this is not an unusual thing to happen. He had time to pick the ball up and throw it away, but certainly at this stage of the ball game, you would rather give up the 2 instead of possibly picking that ball up, getting hit, losing it, and have the other team recover for a touchdown.
Well, he just fell on it. That's right. Scott Bruner of the New York Giants had the exact same thing happen to him. In their contest, they were driving for a touchdown, and the ball just slipped out of his hands as they were trying to win that battle.
Well, this ball club's down 16-0. I guess if you look at the stats, you would expect it to happen because they're pretty much opposite type teams to start the game. Nebraska-Omaha has been a strong team from the start. They've had troubles in the third quarter. South Dakota has, as we have told you, is a team that just does not get off to a good start. They do come from behind. They've been behind 21-0, 21-6 in their last 2 ball games. Last week when they lost, they actually took the lead after they were down 21-6. So they certainly have the quick strike capabilities.
They just don't like to be in that position. They would not like to be in that position. Charlie Neal, Steve Grody over here, enjoying the festivities here on the 75th anniversary of the University of Nebraska-Omaha here in Omaha, Nebraska. And with 1:41 remaining in the first quarter, there's still a lot of time.
How'd this all happen?
They like to strike quickly, and they might just score before that is Nebraska-Omaha before this half ends.
There is a big win. As you can see, this ball pretty much comes straight down after the wind gets a hold of it.
This is Barnett. Barnett struggling, and he's down at the 45-yard line.
Fumble.
Maybe a fumble.
They got it.
Did. South Dakota State took advantage of the fumble by Barnett, and they come up with a big play, something that they need. Let's see what this does to their offense, because they have been struggling, as you said. 1:33 left in the first quarter. They're down 16-0. Let's look at it.
I got to believe that someone must have just pulled this ball out of Allen's hands, out of Barnett's hands after the original hit. Here you see they got him. Now somebody just had to stick their hand in there and intentionally pull the ball out. I think you could argue that possibly his forward progress was stopped before the fumble happened.
Straight ahead. There was a little confusion on what they wanted to do. Ballard on the stop, along with Nannon.
Nannon makes a good play here. He sheds the block of the offensive guard, makes the tackle. Not a bad first down play, though.
There was some confusion because Wager was trying to signal the referee that he wanted a timeout, but they went on and ran the play anyhow.
Look how deep Wager lines up. He is 9 yards deep in the backfield.
Well, that gives him an opportunity to look and read the holes once he gets to pitch. And we're going to get a delay of game penalty.
I was just going to say he won't get this pitch. The play will not get off.
It was a second down 3 situation, I believe it was. 2nd and 3. It'll be 2nd down and 8 now after the 5-yard delay of game penalty. Don't forget, next Saturday, CBS Sports will be at Belmont Park in New York, bringing you 2 excellent horse races. It's the Jockey Club Gold Cup and Champagne Stakes. It's horse racing's all-time leading money winner, John Henry, slew of gold and Playfellow, expected to lead that strong Jockey Club field. In the Champagne Stakes, Devil's Bag, the 2-year-old sensation who has become a leading candidate for Horse of the Year honors. It's all next Saturday on CBS Sports. Check your local listings. This is Scala going in motion. Law back to pass, finally gets the screen off to Sundit. He's still on his feet, and struggles inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. Sundit doing a good job after being banged right at the line of scrimmage and picking up those 5 yards they lost back on the delay of game penalty. Keck on the stop. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
The play was really made by Phil Shack. He occupied 2 blockers, prevented that screen from developing immediately, gave pursuit plenty of time to get over there and prevent the long gain. Once again, though, they really disguised that screen play very well.
And that's the end of the first quarter here. 16-0 is the score. Nebraska-Omaha having a field day on homecoming. Pat. Caniglia Field, Omaha, Nebraska. Charlie Neal and Steve Grody with you here as we start the second quarter. South Dakota State has the ball. It's a 3rd down and 3 situation. The ball at the 37-yard line. They trail 16-0. This is Wager trying to get the first down. Bounced out of bounds, going to be close. Let's see where they spot it. I believe he may have it.
I think
Roop on the stop.
Excuse me, Charlie. This is a play that's a little indicative of where they might try to attack Nebraska-Omaha. Phil Shack has had some containment problems. When they pitch the ball deep like that, Shack's got to force that play back inside where the defensive strength lies. If he can get outside, they'll be successful with that play.
Interesting first quarter statistic. UNO has had the ball only 4 minutes and 23 seconds to 10:37 for South Dakota State, but they lead 16-0.
They're with the win now. I wouldn't be surprised to see them score in this quarter.
Play action. Law throws. Incomplete. Scala had it and could not hold on at about the 18-yard line. Keck on the pressure of the quarterback. Clemson over Virginia, 7-0 first quarter.
That shouldn't be a surprise. Virginia is 0-22 against Clemson.
Michigan leading Michigan State. Not much of a surprise there. Michigan ranked 14th in the nation, interstate rivalry.
Georgia Tech has played well in their last 3 ball games. They've been competitive. NC State's defense still a little shaky, I think.
It'll be 2nd down and 10 now. South Dakota State. Molitor, the up back in the eye. Throws, has it complete to Sundit. He has the first down at the 19-yard line. Sundit with the reception. On the stop was Stala. Ray Stala, a junior from, let's see, what's that? Grand Island, Nebraska. 14-yard reception. But that, again, is amazing, that first quarter time of possession stat.
Well, they had, they put together the big long drive, which, at the end of the game, you would think time of possession in your favor, and you've been successful, but not the case.
First down 10. Again, Law going to the air. Rolls out of the pocket. Has running room. Down to the 10, 5, and down to the 2. Fumbled the ball, and I believe...
They got it back. They got it back.
Let's see who got it.
They got it back.
It bounced into an arm of a UNO player immediately, but I don't think he held on to it. And let's see if we can unravel all of these things.
Mike Law, this is Mike Law at his best.
They did get it back.
He can scramble. Now, realize too that Law plays on knees that have both been injured. Look at this. When he gets it down, he smells the end zone. You can see right there. Is that 53? I think that was Tim Carlson who had the ball pop into his hands, and he lost it, and I don't know who eventually got back on it, but it was a South Dakota State player.
Big break for them. They could ill afford to turn the ball over once getting down this close. They turned it over before at the 3. They were at the 2 that time and almost turned it over. Now it's 1st and goal at the 5. Law to pass. Throws in the middle. Almost intercepted right in the hands. Let's see. I believe that was number 59, Toner.
Well, I'll tell you what they're doing is they're running.
Almost intercepted it.
They're running Thomas just right down into the middle of the field against the linebackers, Carlson, Broomer, Nainen, who are 5'11", 5'9", 5'11", the defensive backs, none of which are over 6 feet tall. I think he just wanted to lob it in there. He certainly took another chance in forcing that ball in.
Certainly did. He's 7 for 13. That is Law. 67 yards and an interception. This is Wager. Deep pitch. Trying to turn the corner. Cannot do it. Great defensive play by Bob Roop, the junior, also from Grand Island, Nebraska. Watch him play that corner. Number 38.
Well, this is a tough block to make. This is the wide receiver's responsibility. But also know this, that the inside defense plugged up the holes inside, forced him to take an angle to the sideline, which once again gives that defensive back plenty of time to read action, play off the blocker, and get over to make the play. That was a good defensive team play.
They lost a couple on that one. It'll be 3rd and goal. The ball is now at the 7-yard line. Play action. Plenty of time. He finally throws it out. And out of the end zone, incomplete. Sundit was the closest man to it. To bring up a 4th and goal. But Sundit Law had all kinds of time.
He certainly did. Sundit went down. He was supposed to cut left. He tried to motion Sundit to come back to the right. Sundit didn't see him. And then he couldn't get outside to scramble. Lost time and just had to throw it up, hopefully in a position where it would not be intercepted if it was incomplete.
This is Ken Jensen, a defensive tackle who does all the kicking for South Dakota State. For field goals this year, he's 4 for 7. His longest a 45-yarder. This is a 25-yarder. It is up and it is good. So South Dakota State finally gets on the scoreboard, and it's a 16-3 ball game with 12:36 remaining here in the 2nd quarter. There's Ken Jensen, who just kicked a 25-yard field goal to put South Dakota State on the scoreboard with 12:36 remaining here in the 2nd quarter. Charlie Neal and Steve Grody with you here. He kicks off. And it's going to go into the end zone and be brought out to the 24 touchback.
16-3, Charlie. The defensive game plan for South Dakota, shut down the run, force the pass. They have not been able to do that.
And near the conclusion of today's game, Steve, CBS Sports and NCAA football broadcasts, Steve and I will be selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each of the teams. Chevrolet, you know, donates a $1,000 check to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. The MVPs receive certificates from Chevrolet acknowledging their outstanding performances. 2nd quarter action. Nebraska-Omaha with the ball. Reverse to the tight end. That's Monroe, and Monroe is at the 25-yard line. They'll mark it at the 26, a 6-yard gain for Monroe.
Well, here's one of the trick plays that evidently they felt it was time for. It's a little reverse. A lot of times they'll sneak a fullback in there to run this play. This time they leave Monroe in. You got Brune and Weiss leading the way. He's tough to bring down. 6-yard gain. First down's going to be an important down in this possession here.
2nd and 4. This time, again, breaking through and getting the first down was Gilman, Bill Gilman. Freemark and Yackley on the stop defensively for South Dakota State. The 75th anniversary of the University of Nebraska-Omaha. So far, Gilman, 102 yards on 4 attempts. Not a bad average. And here he goes again. the outside. Pickup of about 5 on that play for Gilman. Rasmussen on the stop. The strong safety, a senior from Brandon, South Dakota.
And I'll tell you what, he puts one heck of a lick on this kid for being a quarterback. He's a former quarterback who moved to defense last.
That's a Maverick. Naran swings out to Barnett. Barnett struggling, should have the first down. And it was Perner on the stop for South Dakota State. But on the swing pass to Barnett out of the backfield, Barnett struggles for the first down at the 44-yard line. Their own 44. This drive started at their own 20.
I think you always go into a ball game with a certain game plan in mind, but certainly when you find something you're successful with, you just stay with it. They've been able to run the ball. They're only throwing the possession type safe pass.
Gurley, and he reverses it. And he reverses it to Quates. And Quates is at midfield, and Quates is pulled down at the 45-yard line of South Dakota State, a first down. It was Jim Smith on the stop, the free safety. Watch Quates, the split end, a sophomore from Omaha.
Well, Quates is a kid who's really developed as a receiver. You see here, he's also very, very tough to bring down once he catches the ball. He's a good runner, so they're able to put this play into the playbook, give him a chance to break one.
It's ironic, South Dakota State has allowed only an average of 148 yards rushing per game coming into today's contest, and they've already given up 184 yards rushing. This pass is complete. And that's Sorensen, John Sorensen, a senior from Omaha, on the reception. Wake Forest leads North Carolina 3-0. And North Carolina is ranked number 4 in the nation. A 13-yard reception by Sorensen that last time around. His 10th reception of the year.
And Naran showed a very, very strong arm on that pass play.
First down. This is Gurley. He already has 2 touchdowns today. He can't turn the corner that time. And Rick Wirches from Elmore, Minnesota, a junior, makes the stop. Wirch is 6'3", 191-pounder. He was out of school last year, did not play football, came to South Dakota State in January. He was at Rochester, Minnesota Junior College back in 1981.
Well, the defensive backfield was really their biggest concern coming into this season. They've got some junior college transfers in the defensive backfield. However, they are All-Americans, 3 of them, and they played very well.
There was a penalty flag on that last play, apparently against Nebraska-Omaha, and they're going to mark it back. Now we'll wait for our referee, Jay Rasmussen. Holding against the Mavericks of Nebraska-Omaha. I believe it was Brune,
67,
who was detected holding. 9:50, the time remaining in the second quarter. You're looking at Randy Naran. He's back to pass.
Delay.
Throws, and he has it complete. And that is Monroe, the tight end. And Monroe is to the 31-yard line. Yackley on the stop. First down. No, it isn't a first down. He picked up about 11, 12 yards.
Well, this is the delay to the tight end. They sent both wide receivers deep. And for a while, it looked like there was no intended receiver. But lo and behold, the tight end snuck out of the backfield, almost beat the linebacker, Yackley. And let me tell you something, the middle was wide open. If he could have beat the linebacker, he'd have run right down to about the 10-yard line.
Second down and 9. That's the first down situation. Naran to pass. Complete.
Quates.
And Quates.
Or is it?
No. Is that Quates?
No, it's Allen. And they told us we'd get these two guys confused, didn't they?
They definitely did.
They look a lot alike physically. It's tough to pick out 37 from 87 sometimes. This is just a great pass. He watched Allen right from the set, saw him cut across the middle, threw the ball right where it was supposed to be. First down.
First down at the 15-yard line after the 16-yard gain on the pass play. going to the air. He keeps it, and he's inside the 10. A gain of 7 on the play. Free mark on the stop for South Dakota State.
And Naran did an excellent job that time. He pumped one time. I thought he was going to hit the tight end. It's a good thing he didn't throw it because the linebacker recovered and would have picked it off. Also, remember now, their hands have to be cold. He did a good job of holding onto the ball after he made the fake.
Good read. 4 for 5, 48 yards. He's been intercepted once. Randy Naran, the junior from Omaha. Hometown kid. The deep pitch this time. Gurley trying to get in for the 3rd time today. He does. Gurley's 3rd touchdown of the afternoon.
Well, credit the block of Larry Barnett for setting this play up initially. There you can see the defender rolling down in the backfield. That was the block that sprung him free. Obviously, the offensive line doing their job. Once again, no one touches the ball carrier until it gets to the goal line. The strength that Gilman takes him across. Gurley, I mean.
Gurley, the sophomore from Millard, Nebraska, had not scored a touchdown coming into the game. Pettit with the extra point attempt. He's 3 for 3 in that department today. And with 7:52 remaining here in the second quarter, we have a 23-3 ball game. Nebraska-Omaha celebrating their homecoming. Third down, 2 yards to go. Oh, up in the air.
He can run, he can run.
That's Roop.
Angle, run to the corner.
Wager stops him at the 32-yard line. Wager was the man who coughed up the ball, I believe. Watch it.
Boy, oh boy.
He had it and just let it go. Look. And look at Roop right in the...
He's right there. Johnny on the spot now. Who doesn't throw a block for him? Now this is a little experience. He gets right down here and watch. He runs in a straight line right down the middle of the field. He'll get caught like this. You've got an angle away from the defense. If he'd have run to the right corner, he may have made it.
3rd turnover of the day for South Dakota State. Making that the 4th turnover. Don't forget, at halftime, we'll have scores and highlights, and Pat O'Brien has a feature on coaches' shows. Don't forget, all coming up at halftime. Stay with us. 1:35 remaining in the first half, 23-3 to score. Nebraska-Omaha has the lead. Naran wants to pass on first down, throws a lame duck out to the left flat to Gilman. Incomplete.
I think a score at this point really makes it too difficult for South Dakota State to come back. They've got to hold them scoreless on this possession. And this is usually the big one. I think most defenses pride themselves, and defensive coordinators talk about it all the time. When our offense turns the ball over, we cannot give up the score.
They've suffered 4 turnovers today, and 2 came right there in scoring territory. Naran throws, drills it, has it complete, and Quates finally drugged down defensively by Gary Fisher, the junior from Bloomington, Minnesota. But Quates, after a 13-yard gain and a first down, moves the ball inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line. South Dakota State trailing 23-3. 1:10 remaining, first half. Drilled over the middle. This is number 87, Terry Allen, and Allen is down to the 1-yard line. 17-yard gain. Terry Allen, his 2nd reception today.
Well, Allen's a pretty interesting story. I believe his mother and father both went to UNO.
He's from Rochester, Michigan.
His father evidently had a son who he tried to get UNO to recruit. They didn't recruit him, and he went to Syracuse, so they listened to him this time, and they got themselves a very good player.
His father played professional football. First and goal, they drill it. Touchdown. Finally, Gilman, after running for so many yards, catches a pass and scores. And
he didn't have to run anywhere, did he?
Catalyst for them so far from the rushing standpoint of view.
Well, I'll tell you what, this has just been a very wild, crazy game. We've seen so many big turnovers, big plays. The majority of them have gone against South Dakota State. A successful point right here makes it 30-3.
And Pettit puts it through. 30-3 it is with 36 seconds left.
I think this is the most difficult play in college football to defense, particularly on the goal line situation when you've got a quarterback that is capable of running the ball, also has the ability to pick out an open receiver. They sprint out, flood the zone. They had a man in the corner. You can see him come into your picture right there. They just option that defensive halfback. Touchdown. 27-point
deficit. It's one thing to be down 21-0 and come back, which was the case that South Dakota State was in a couple of weeks ago against North Dakota. They were down 21-0, came back and won it 28-27. So maybe they're a second half team. We'll see what happens, huh?
Well, their problem this week is that for the most part, Nebraska-Omaha is also a good second half team. They've had some problems in the third quarter earlier in the year, but not so much recently. And in fact, they do play well in the second half. They're a very well-conditioned team, a team that will be very, very difficult to come back on.
They were down 21-6 at halftime last week to St. Cloud, held St. Cloud to only 17 yards in the third quarter. So maybe their defense can do it for them again this afternoon. This is Fisher on the return for South Dakota State. And he moves the ball out to the 33-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 with 31 seconds remaining in the first half. Don't forget, next Saturday on CBS, Jockey Club and that's the Jockey Club Gold Cup and Champagne Stakes. That's all coming to your way from Belmont Park in New York. Check your local listings for the time in your area. It's next Saturday right here on CBS Sports. First down and 10. Mike Law, Scala in the middle, opened. He has it. Gain of about 7 on the play. There's the scoring drive after the interception. Tim Carlson on that stop, but the interception, you saw the scoring drive. 4 plays, 41 yards. Scala again, the intended receiver, way overthrown. Stala was the closest man to it for Nebraska-Omaha. 5 seconds to time remaining.
You know, and I think Stala was a little undecided. I think he thought that ball was going to be overthrown, but he was afraid to wait on it and have the receiver catch it and go down the middle. If he'd have stayed in his spot, he might have grabbed that one and run right down the sidelines.
And they go with the draw. And Scala has a little problem with Tim Carlson as the first half comes to a close here. 30-3 is the score. Nebraska-Omaha leads by 27 points. South Dakota State at Nebraska-Omaha is an exclusive presentation of CBS Sports. We'll return with more coverage after this word from your local station. Well, we're at halftime. 30-3 is our score. The home team, Nebraska-Omaha, enjoying their 75th anniversary on this October the 8th. And it's their homecoming day, huh?
Get in here. It's a cold homecoming day, too. Are you warm?
Well,
it's a good thing I told you to wear that sweater.
Yes, indeed. Let's look back at the first half a little bit. The scoring drives in the first half, you saw Gurley. He has 3 touchdowns in the game so far. He started it off with that 9-yard run, came back with a 14-yard run. South Dakota State finally, well, I shouldn't say finally got on the scoreboard. They had a safety, and then Ken Jensen kicked that 25-yard field goal to put them on the scoreboard. At that time, they trailed 16-3. Then they went ahead 23-3 with Gurley's 3rd touchdown of the day.
Well, the story of the ball game in the first half was the offensive line of Nebraska-Omaha completely controlling things. Here you see a sweep that pretty indicative of the way they controlled the first half. Nobody will touch Gurley until he gets into the end zone. This made it 23-3. I don't think there's a college running back in the country that will not get into the end zone on a tackle like that. You can't bring them down with your hands.
And then they went into the halftime with about 30 seconds left. It was Naran, a 1-yard pass to Gilman, and Gilman had 107 yards rushing in the first half. But let's look at the play that led to that particular touchdown. It was Wager fumbling the ball.
Well, like I say, when things get going bad, everything goes wrong. This is a play you don't see very often.
And he wasn't even hit.
Yeah, Roop comes right in, and I tell you, I had this happen to me one time. You get a fumble like this, you're going to get a chance to score a touchdown. Your guys don't block for you. Now, if he'd have run towards the right corner and got an angle, he may have made it all the way, but he gets run down with an angle tackle.
Okay, you saw Wager, the man who fumbled, run him down. But we're at halftime. We'll be back with the second half kickoff in just a moment. It's Nebraska-Omaha 30, South Dakota State 3.
South Dakota State versus Nebraska-Omaha, an exclusive presentation of CBS Sports, is sponsored by Mazda and the full line of sophisticated Mazda products. The U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. And by Allstate, for home, auto, business, health, and life. You're in good hands with Allstate.
State so far in this first half. First of all, they've had 4 turnovers, an interception that resulted in a touchdown, a fumble that resulted in a safety, an interception that resulted in a fumble, and a fumble that resulted in a touchdown. So you cannot win ball games with that many turnovers, especially when they result in scores.
Well, that explanation was confusing enough, so obviously things aren't going well. Now there's your key stat, Charlie.
Yes, it is. And
South Dakota State was giving up what, 148 yards per game coming into this contest per game. They gave up 150, I think, in the first quarter alone.
And 154 of those yards were between the two tailbacks, Gurley and Gilman, with Gilman 107 of those yards. Pate to kick off to start the second half. Wager drops the ball in the end zone. Finally, he downs it. And the last time he touched the ball in the first half, he let it go, and it resulted in a long run by Root. Meanwhile, South Dakota State now will go on offense, first down and 10 at their own 20-yard line. And there's our end zone camera. Keith up there trying to hold on for dear life.
Right. When the wind blows, he shakes up there a little bit.
This is Prout on the carry. Paul Prout, a junior, and he's from Sioux City, Iowa. And look at the first down average yards for Nebraska-Omaha. They've averaged 10 yards every time they've touched the ball on first down. South Dakota State, only 4. Back to pass, rolls left, decides to keep it, runs, gets a good block, still on his feet, bounces outside and finally out of bounds at the 39-yard line. First down, South Dakota State.
You've got to be impressed with Law's ability to run, considering the fact that he's had knee injuries that have actually knocked him out of ball games. In fact, I believe the one had surgery on one knee. He takes a real good lick right here, just bounces off and keeps going. 16-yard gain on that run by the quarterback Law, who has 63 yards rushing in the game. He's 5 for 63 in the rushing department. Here's the deep pitch to Wager. Wager, a yard gain, stopped at the 40-yard line. And it was Tim Carlson, the linebacker, who came up to make the stop. Carlson, a co-captain, a senior. He's from Omaha, leading tackler on the team coming into today's ball game. And he's probably their best defensive player. You know, he played behind a very strong defensive line last year, and they let him roam to make all the plays. He's probably been a little more disciplined player this year. His performance has made that young defensive line much more confident unit.
Ethier goes to the far side. Wager splits out far to the left side. And the play action, and it is a play. They give it to Scala. Scala across the 40. Flag is down. We'll probably see holding up front. It may be against Deesh.
I don't think there's any question. The play was coming right at us. I think Deesh put his left hand on Coleman's outside shoulder and grabbed him.
Holding. Jay Rasmussen, our referee, is the signal. And let's look at it. Watch Deesh. Deesh wears number 79.
Here you can see he started inside, came outside. Deesh is right here. Look at that. Not too tough to pick up, is it?
Little dance there, huh? Don't dance every dance, he says.
So you're mine, buddy.
So that moves the ball all the way back to the 31-yard line. We're in the third quarter. 13:38 is the time remaining in the third quarter. 30-3 our score. And it's South Dakota State with the ball trailing by 27 points. Wager gets a block, cuts inside, and struggles to the 37-yard line. Some other scores from around the NCAA today. Purdue has come back to take a 7-6 lead over Ohio State. That's all tied up. ACC battle. Wake Forest and number 4 ranked North Carolina. Clemson way out in front of Virginia now. And you see again that Purdue Ohio State score. Navy over Air Force 10-7. Right here we have a 3rd down and 12. This is Scala in motion. Law back to pass, rolls right, comes out of the pocket, and he's trapped, but he gets away.
Oh, he's got somebody open now.
Is complete. And that was, let's see who that's Scala coming out of the backfield. He's going to be about a yard short of a 1st down. But look at the effort of Law.
Well, this is where he can really hurt you. And really, the big thing is right here that when the receivers see a scramble situation like this, they have to be able to alter their routes and find an open area. Now, it was unfortunate that he had to fall to the ground. They're up a half yard short. They've got to go for it.
It's 4th down. First time on 4th down. Scala will not get it. Will not get the 1st down. They gambled and failed.
Well, somebody shot underneath and stacked up the play right at the line of scrimmage. Then they got backside help. Turn it over.
30-3 the score. Nebraska-Omaha with a 27-point advantage. Boston College over Yale 13-0. 1st down 10 right here. University of Nebraska-Omaha with the ball. 47-yard line of South Dakota State. Moran with the pass, and it's complete to Barnett. And look at Barnett struggle down inside the 40. Close to a 1st down. He'll be about a half a yard shy at about the 37.5-yard line.
Well, Barnett's their quickest, strongest back. You can see how quick his feet are on that short run right there. I really get the feeling that last week's game where they played a very strong North Dakota State team that had a lot of pursuit. They featured him running the misdirection play. I think they got him back into the ball game.
This is the 3rd time, the last 3 times that Nebraska-Omaha's had the ball and started in South Dakota State territory. This is Barnett, 1st down, and look at him go to the 25. Don't forget, following our game, you'll see 3rd-ranked Alabama, the Crimson Tide, under first-year head coach Ray Perkins, going to University Park against the Nittany Lions of Penn State.
And I'll tell you what, if Nebraska wouldn't be playing so well, Ray Perkins would probably be getting a lot more publicity. What a great job following Bear Bryant down there. I don't know how Penn State can play with him.
They'll find out today, won't they? Naran to pass. And he drills it between 2 defenders and has it complete inside the 15. And that is to the tight end Monroe. Kevin Monroe, the junior from Omaha, Nebraska. 1st down, Nebraska-Omaha.
Well, they've got pretty much things going as they want them right now. And obviously, they're not going to be conservative. In fact, they can afford to take even more chances now with the way things are going.
Nebraska-Omaha has lost 5 of the last 7 games against South Dakota State. And here's Barnett. Barnett, look at him dance. He dances pretty, doesn't he?
Boy, and credit Pat Keene with a great, great block.
Larry Barnett runs about a 4.7 40. Co-captain of the team, has a 33-inch vertical jump.
You know, this is kind of a funny matchup coming into this ball game. South Dakota State had they not been beaten due to some very unusual circumstances last week, may have been favored coming into this ball game. They were 4th in the country last week before they got upset. So this is quite a big surprise, the score.
And that's Gilman, who's down close to the goal line, has a first down. It'll be first down and goal. Rasmussen on the stop.
Take a look at 73. You see him firing off the line. He blocks down right there. 73 is Ron Peterson.
He has to block down.
He's only 6'10", 280. See him, so look what he does to 45. Boy, oh boy, he just cleared out the inside. Took Greg Draley about 10 yards down inside.
He has to block down. He can't stand up.
Oh, he just murdered somebody again.
Barnett.
They ran right over his hole.
Barnett. He stopped shy of the goal line.
He took care of Ken Jensen that time. It might be interesting to see a picture of the huddle. Let's take a look at this play again. It's just a straight dive. They run right over Peterson. He takes Jensen down inside. Straight dive, nothing fancy.
Barnett, shy. Someone submarine on the right side. Number 45 was the man who did it. That was Greg Draley, who came in and stopped Barnett shy of the goal line. The line back on the inside, a junior from Dubuque, Iowa.
Well, they're just trying to power it in now. You see, most of the line makes a good block. He must have. There must have been a missed assignment, or because I don't see anybody even in his area attempting to make the block.
3rd and goal. Gilman on the pitch.
Whoa, yeah.
Cannot get in. Good defensive play by Randy Perner. Watch Randy Perner, the left corner, fight off the block and make the stop.
Oh, this comes right at you. You'll get a good idea. Picture yourself as the defender. Look at that. Boy, beautiful defensive play.
It certainly was.
Well, I got to believe he'll pass it now.
Well, it's 4th and goal.
Who knows? He might run a reverse this time.
They're going to go for it on 4th and goal, leading 30-3.
I love it.
Barnett cannot get in. They hold. That was Jim or Rasmussen, I believe, that came up to make the stop, or was it Jimmy Gray, number 90? I think it was Rasmussen, number 30. Wade Rasmussen, the strong safety.
Well, the interior of the defense did a great job. They forced this play outside. There you see 87 plugs up the hole. He's got nowhere to go as Rasmussen comes up and fills the outside. Big defensive stand.
It certainly was. Here's Wager giving them some breathing room out to about the 3-yard line before Tim Carlson makes the stop. Checking some other scores from around the NCAA. We have Iowa over Northwestern. Iowa ranked 15th in the nation. A Big Ten battle there. Cornell leading Harvard 3-0. Georgia Tech over North Carolina State. Army over Rutgers. Michigan rolling along there over Michigan State. Long keeps it out to the 10. Knocked out at the 11-yard line. Shy of a first down. Keck was the man who made the stop.
Well, they're trying one thing right now. They want that initial first down to give themselves some breathing room. This is the best way to really isolate the defense on one side, sprint out. Lal chose to run the ball that time.
3rd down, a long one. He's back to pass on 3rd and 1. He decides to keep it, rolls, and has the first down at the 15, just across the 15 to about the 16-yard line. Goes the quarterback Law, but there's a penalty marker now.
Well, this is Law at his best. I mean, he just roll left, roll right. I think this is probably what we're going to see a lot of here in the second half. Give him the option to get outside and run or pass. pressure on that defensive outside.
Law so far is their leading rusher. The leading rusher in the game for South Dakota State, 76 yards on 7 attempts.
Against the Mavericks, 5 yards.
So the penalty goes against Nebraska-Omaha. The ball will be moved out to the 20. It's a first down and 10 for South Dakota State. This drive started at their own 3-yard line. 6:27 remaining third quarter. Second man. That's Sundett, I believe, running with the ball.
I guess he just didn't see that big hole to the left.
Was that Reel? That's Rod Reel. They call him Zepko from Appleton, Wisconsin.
Well, you can see, I don't know if you're going to be able to see on the left corner of your picture, if he cuts left, they had blocked out the end. He eventually tries to get out there. Nonetheless, I mean, a big run at the first down.
And that's the first time we'd seen him in the ball game this afternoon. 13-0, Florida over Vanderbilt. Florida ranked number 9 in the nation. Molitor, the up back. Molitor has the ball, and he's hit immediately in the hole by Clark Toner. Clark did not start the ball game, had been out with a hip pointer. He's a senior co-captain from Grand Island, Nebraska, but he's come on and played a whale of a ball game defensively.
Well, he's a very explosive type player. He's a first-team all-academic, All-American.
Pre-law major.
Yeah.
It'll be second down and 9 for South Dakota State. Play action, fake to Wager. Law stands in the pocket, throws out in the flat, should be intercepted. And it is. Far sideline. That was Bob Root, the junior, his second turnover of the day.
I'm just real surprised that he threw this. I didn't think this receiver was ever open. Got in a scramble situation there. You can see the tight end wide open. Thomas. He forced this one to the sideline, so the man was never open.
Ethier was the intended receiver, but Roop comes up with the interception. 5:08 remaining third quarter. A 27-point advantage for Nebraska-Omaha. Well, he won't have to change when he goes to celebrate tonight, huh?
No, sir. It certainly looks like he'll be celebrating, too.
And running with the ball this time, I believe that's Gurley carrying, or is that's Gilman, number 18 rather than 16. And you talk about those 21 losses, only 5 of those 21 have been here at home.
16 have been on the road, all on grass. So
they're an AstroTurf team. 21-10. There's Michigan State coming back. How about that? Last time we saw was 25-0.
They just scored 20 points in about 2 minutes.
In East Lansing, no less. Wide open. Quates at the 10 and down to the 9-yard line. Quates. They'll look at it once again.
Coming into the ball game, Nebraska-Omaha wanted to be able to run the ball to take away the aggressiveness of the interior line. They've done that. They also wanted to be successful first and second down passing the ball. They've mixed the two up very well. They are ahead 30-3.
And there's Hensel. He hasn't had much to be happy about this afternoon. Wayne Hensel in his second year as head coach. The last time he lost to this team was a couple of years ago, 40-17. Actually, it was 1980. This is Barnett, straight ahead to the 5. Pickup of about 3 for Barnett. Schmidt on the stop. It'll be second down.
We're talking about that Michigan State game. You know, that game is not on television, and they can't put it on public TV. Don Canham, the moneymaker that he is, he's showing that game on closed-circuit television back to Ann Arbor, Michigan.
He's a wheeler and dealer. You know him well, don't you?
I do.
Second and goal at the 5. Duran to go to the air, throws deep in the end zone, incomplete, intended for McKee. Don McKee out on the far sideline.
30-3, possibly the game out of reach now. But believe me, there are still a lot of good things that can happen, and I guarantee you right now that one of the things the defense will pride themselves on is they had a big goal line stand the last time Nebraska-Omaha got down there. They've got another chance to do the same thing.
Naran so far, as you look at Quake's statistics, 10 of 13 for 124 yards, a touchdown. He has been intercepted one time. 3rd and goal at the 5, 3:22 left, 3rd quarter. Naran throws. McKee, touchdown. Don McKee, his first touchdown reception of the year. The senior from Omaha.
Well, McKee's their big 3rd down player. He's the guy who can make the real tough catches. Obviously, when you take a look at the replay with 4 defenders there, he knows how to get open. He's very good against the zone. He finds the seam. Ball was thrown crisply, not too hard. It was a very short pass. McKee made a very good reception.
The extra point attempt is up, and it is good. And we have a 37-3 ball game. 4 plays, 36 yards. They use 1:51 off the clock. Don't forget a doubleheader on CBS tomorrow. It starts with the NFL today. Most of you will see the Minnesota at Chicago game, with the exception of those in Omaha who will see Washington at St. Louis. And then the second game of the doubleheader, winless Tampa Bay goes to unbeaten Dallas to meet the Cowboys. And how about an upset, huh? This is Wager at the 4-yard line.
He could,
to the outside. 30, 40, midfield, and down to the 48-yard line of Nebraska-Omaha. Wager with a 48-yard kickoff return, and he's injured on the play.
Well, it looks like he might just have the wind knocked out of him. I believe this is his second real good return. He had a hole right up the middle, which he chose not to pursue right there. He just ran it by. There's a good block right there. Breaks the hand tackle. He's off and running. It was pretty obvious he wasn't going to go all the way. There were 2 or 3 defenders that had the angle on him. There you can see they converge. Looks like he fell on the ball.
And he'd been averaging 20 yards per kickoff return. We'll be back with more 3rd quarter action in just a moment. Today's game, first of all, there's Wager. He looks like he's okay. He's coming off the field after that 48-yard kickoff return. And don't forget, after today's game, it'll be number 3 Alabama at Penn State.
Take a look across the red sideline. You see 100 players. Know that the visiting teams can only take 45 players on the road. So the first 2 teams for South Dakota State will have to play the entire ball game.
Law with time, under pressure, rolls out of the pocket, continues to run. 40, runs out of bounds. There's a flag down at about the 37, 38-yard line. That is not the flag. That is the down marker that fell. The guy in the tuxedo didn't want to get it dirty, so he dropped it and ran for his dear life.
Well, you know, that's really an important thing for those sideline markers to do, because if you run to the sideline and they hold that thing up, those are metal poles in a lot of instances, and you can really hurt yourself if those down markers don't get thrown to the ground.
There you see the total yard statistics. Law, the leading rusher for South Dakota State, with 87 yards on 8 attempts. He's the quarterback, and he's back to pass. Stumbling, throws it. Scala has it. He has some sideline room. 30, and out of bounds at the 30. Make that the 27-yard line by Lentner. Darren Lentner, a freshman from Syracuse, Nebraska.
Well, he took a big hit right here.
First down.
This was a well set up play. He had a solid 10, 15 yards in front of him before a defender. You can see the wide receiver running off the corner man. They have to get help from the inside to make this tackle. It took a good pop on his shoulder.
Kevin Scala picks up the first down for South Dakota State. They're at the 27 of Nebraska-Omaha with 2:49 left, 3rd quarter, trailing 37-3. Law, maybe a busted play. He throws it away. I believe he wanted to hand off, and the man went to the wrong side. He jigged when he should have jagged.
I think you're absolutely right, and really you're lucky that you don't get an offensive lineman downfield on a play like that.
And so far, Law 14 of 27, 144 yards. He's almost run for as many yards as he's thrown for today.
I'm telling you, I know he's tired.
It'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 at the 27. Deep I formation. He's back to pass, steps in the pocket, has his tight end there. At the 5-yard line, Dennis Thomas has it.
Boy,
First and goal.
Well, that kid hurt his shoulder, too.
22-yard gain, and there's an injured Nebraska-Omaha player down on the field.
You can almost see this big collision coming. They wait for the tight end to get good protection here. They wait for the tight end to clear the linebacker. You can see that collision coming. And Hutton hit him a little bit with his shoulder instead of with his helmet. And just from the way he's laying down, I can tell he hurt his shoulder.
Kirk Hutton is the man, the strong safety. He's up, being assisted off the field. He's a senior from Plattsmouth, Nebraska. Charlie Neal and Steve Grody here with you, enjoying the festivities on homecoming, the 75th anniversary of Nebraska-Omaha. As you look at the back of Mike Law, it's first and goal for South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits have not had much success when they've gotten down close today. Hutton, the young man you saw going off, pretty intelligent young man, a 4.0 grade point average. Deep back, Reel, and he's dropped for a 1-yard loss. Rod Reel, 1-yard loss. Some other scores from around the NCAA. Florida State over Pittsburgh in the second quarter by 6. And there you see Wake Forest tied up with North Carolina, the 4th-ranked team in the nation. Iowa over Northwestern. Northwestern not playing too badly.
Northwestern's only scored 10 points all year long.
Ohio State is taking a lead. Second and goal at the 6. Law reverses his field, running for his life. If he can get a block and maybe find somebody open, throws it. He had Thomas in the end zone, but just didn't have enough mustard on the ball. Boy, I'll tell you, he scrambled.
I'll tell you what, he'll tire a defense out unless he tires himself out first. Little Fran Tarkenton. Boy, Boston College has opened it up on Yale now, haven't they?
Look at that comeback by Michigan State. Cornell over Harvard by a field goal. It'll be third and goal at the 6-yard line for South Dakota State. Coach Wayne Hensel wondering what he has to do to get his team into the end zone as far as the touchdown is concerned. They've been close. They've knocked on the door numerous times, but it hasn't opened for them.
Well, they've turned it over every time they've gotten inside the 10.
Throws incomplete, flag down in the end zone. Again, intended for the tight end Thomas. He's clapping his hands. We may see interference. Let's see.
We've got a holding penalty. I'm not so sure exactly who it's on yet, but this was another instance where they just tried to throw the ball up in the air, hoping the big tight end could just take it away from the smaller defensive backs.
Defensive holding. Jay Rasmussen, our referee, the preliminary indication. So let's see what they're going to do with it. Probably mark it from the spot of the infraction. Unless it was in the end zone, then it would be half the distance to the goal line.
Well, maybe you understand all the different holding rules in college football. We went to our seminar in New York, and they tried to explain all the different holding penalties and where they would be marked off. And I just said to myself, I'm going to let my play-by-play guy figure it out.
Well, that's exactly what happened. As you see, Clemson leading Virginia now. Virginia is still looking for a win over Clemson. They haven't done so in so long.
They've never beaten Clemson. If you just joined us, we'll tell you that again. They're 0-22.
Look at North Carolina has taken a 17-10 lead now over Wake Forest. That score was tied at 10. So it'll be third and goal. The ball is at the 3-yard line. Full house backfield. Wishbone offense. This is Reel. Touchdown. Reel, a 3-yard run. Rod Reel, a junior, his second touchdown of the year.
He was their leading ground gainer last year, Charlie. He's now their top specialty player. He explodes to the hole. Generally used in short yardage situation. Good on a straight dive. Got a fresh man in there. Maybe that was the difference.
In to attempt the point after is Ken Jensen. So far, he's 12 for 13 in that department this year. The kick is up, No good.
No good.
So he misses another. 7-play, 48-yard drive. They use 2 minutes off the clock. 37-9 is our score. As I said, 1:17 remaining third quarter. And don't forget, next Saturday, CBS Sports will be at Belmont Park in New York, bringing you 2 excellent horse races. First, it's the Jockey Club Gold Cup and Champagne Stakes. The horse racing's all-time leading money winner, John Henry, will be there. Slew of Gold and Playfellow expected to lead a strong Jockey Club field. And in the Champagne Stakes, Devil's Bag, the 2-year-old sensation, who has become a leading candidate for Horse of the Year honors, expected to be sure, so you be sure, I should say, to be there and join us for what should be 2 very, very special races next Saturday right here on CBS Sports. You can check your local listings for the time.
If I can get a pay raise, I might become a horse fan.
You're going to need it, huh? To bet.
I'll tell you what, if you're a horse fan, you probably got empty pockets. I don't know anybody who makes a living doing that.
This is Allen. And Allen breaks it out to about the 33-yard line after a almost botched attempt at the return. And there's that last scoring drive. 7 plays, 48 yards. Real with the 3-yard run, but Jensen missed the point after.
You know, this Terry Allen's been the biggest surprise of the year, probably for the offense. And I think that they're a little surprised. He came in and told them that he wanted to return punts, wanted to return kickoffs. As a freshman, I think they're real impressed with his attitude. They really believe he's going to be a great player.
We see some new people in the lineup now for Nebraska-Omaha. This is Brian Nelson running with the ball. Scott Jamison is now the quarterback, and there's a penalty flag down.
Well, along with the new people come penalties, and I got to believe this will be illegal motion. You know, Nelson just getting into the ball game, he's probably their most elusive runner. He's been a little inconsistent, and as you can see with the good tailbacks and running backs they've got, you better be pretty consistent if you're going to break into the starting lineup.
The last time North Dakota's Nebraska-Omaha had the ball, we'll get the Norths and the Souths together. The last time Nebraska-Omaha had the ball, they scored on a 5-yard pass and ran to McKee. New quarterback is in, is a sophomore from Fort Dodge, Iowa, Scott Jamison. And he wants to go to the air. Throws, has it complete to Mancuso, and Mancuso is up to about the 40-yard line, just shy of the 40. It was Lewis on the stop for South Dakota State. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Well, Sandy Buddha really using this opportunity now to get Jamison a little experience. They tell us he's has very good talent, potentially as good or better than Naran. Just doesn't have any game experience whatsoever.
There's Scott Jamison, 0 for 5 in the passing department coming into today's game. So far, he's 1 for 1. This time he hands off to Nelson. And Nelson versus the field, gets a block and is run out of bounds, but has the first down. He got a good block in there. Perner was the young man who ran him out of bounds. That's going to be the end of the third quarter. Our score, Nebraska-Omaha 37, South Dakota State 9. South Dakota State and Nebraska-Omaha is an exclusive presentation of CBS Sports. And we'll be back with fourth quarter action after this message and a word from your local station. Yep.
Nope. Nope.
Very few words.
Hey.
We're trying.
Let's try to get Buddha. Bring Buddha up here. You want to send me down? I'll talk to him.
Wayne Hensel, head coach at South Dakota State, not too happy right now.
And Charlie, I think his worst fears are being realized. You know, they have never been a strong second half of the season ball club. Even in the years when they had good teams, 79 when they had their playoff team, they have just never been a good second half ball club. And coming off last week's big loss, that disappointing loss, which we'll get into before this game's over, he was afraid they wouldn't be ready to play this week.
There's a North Central score. North Dakota over Mankato State, 7-0. That last pass by Jamison was complete to Terry Allen, and you saw Allen go high in the air to make the reception.
Of course, North Dakota State. Was that North Dakota State we just got?
Yes.
You know, they lost last week. The Nebraska-Omaha ended that 22-game regular season Bison winning streak.
This is again going around the right side is Brian Nelson.
That also ended their 20-game North Central Conference win streak of 20 games that dated back to the mid-80s, mid-1980.
Florida State over Pitt, 13-7 at the half. It's a third quarter score from North Carolina State.
You know, you take a look at this North Central Conference. Whoa, 2-0.
Safety, huh?
Charlie, I got something for you here. Tell me what happened October 1st, 1977. Last time Georgia lost a road game in the Southeastern Conference.
Nelson. Okay, not bad.
1977. Now, when you talk about this conference, as we take a look at some more scores, this is a very strong Division II conference, maybe the strongest conference in the country.
In Division II, that's right.
In Division II, loaded with good quarterbacks. St. Cloud State, probably the surprise of the league thus far.
They're sitting up there on the top.
Yeah,
with,
they're hosting Augustana, who features that radar defense.
That's Kenny Anderson's old school.
Yeah.
Jamison. Out to the right side. And that's Gurley, who already has 3 touchdowns rushing in the game. And he picks up the first down inside the 25 to the 22.
Okay, 37-9. Like I say, there's still things to work on, especially now for Nebraska-Omaha with some second unit people in there. Here you see him set up the screen, gets the ball out there just in time. Nice play.
1st and 10. The Mavericks, they lead 37-9.
Here we go.
And a fumble, a flag is down, and Nebraska-Omaha recovers. South Dakota State had a chance. Jim Gray almost fell on it, but he couldn't find the handle. But let's see what the penalty is about.
It's going to be illegal motion, won't it? I believe this is Mancuso in at tight end now.
See if we can pick up what happened on that last play. The tight end reverse, we seen him run it earlier.
Well, you can see, I believe it's Gurley who started real early. And as you can see from this ball game, these trick plays, I guess they're really trick plays if you don't use them very often. These plays are really a part of the UNO offense. And they have got to get execution on these plays with their second teamers should someone get injured.
Actually, Mancuso is not a second teamer. He's a regular starter, but he had been out with a shoulder injury.
Illinois comes off of the big one against Iowa. They've got Ohio State next week. Good setting for a decent Wisconsin team to upset them.
Jamison trying to set up something. Throws over the middle.
Touchdown.
Has it complete. 10. And out of bounds at the 6-yard line. That is Tim Croft, a freshman from Omaha. 27-yard gain for Croft. His first reception this year.
Tremendous protection. Jamison gets all the time in the world. It looks like I couldn't tell if that was his primary receiver or not. I thought Croft might have had the angle to get it into the corner. Good pursuit, pulls him down. Jim Smith.
At the 6-yard line, 1st and goal. Pate has checked into the lineup. And the pitch to Gurley. He's going for 4. He's still on his feet. Touchdown. Determined effort. His 4th touchdown of the afternoon. Mark Gurley, a sophomore from Millet, Nebraska.
He had to run over his own right guard, Joe Tangeman, who pulled. You'll see him get out here. There's 75 Tangeman. I'd say that's a pretty decent run.
Not bad, huh? 12:03 remaining in the contest. It's 43-9. Extra point attempt by Pettit. No, that was not Pettit kicking that time. That was Pate. He put the extra point on the board. And it's 44-9.
Throw out your charts.
Well, Sandy Buddha wore the tuxedo today, and I guess it paid off for him as Pate kicks off. They lead 44-9. And up to the 32-33 yard line. As you look at the drive, 10 plays, 66 yards. They use 4:14 off the clock. And Nebraska-Omaha has scored every time they've touched the ball in the second half, with the exception of their first drive when they were stopped on 4th and goal at the 1. This is Mike Law. He's gone all the way at quarterback for Coach Wayne Hensel. Play action, fake to reel, throws behind his intended receiver, the tight end, Thomas. We'll look at that once again. He had the man open, but threw a little bit behind him.
Well, I got to believe this is the point in the game where it gets very, very tough to keep your concentration. Take a look at the replay here. Little drag pattern. Run the outside people deep, bring the tight end across the field. You got to believe Law's getting real tired. Generally, you'll lose your accuracy on the passes.
I'll tell you, somebody else who's been held in check pretty good this afternoon is Ethier.
He sure has, hadn't he?
Law throwing back across the field. A dangerous pass, but he has it complete for a first down. And it's Matt Hippie, the senior from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a 16-yard gain. And it was Roper, Forrest Roper, on the coverage.
And I'll tell you what's so great about this play. I guarantee you that Law never even saw the receiver. He just knew that he was there. He knew his pattern. He knew where his second wide receiver was, and he just turned around and threw it.
And hoped that Roper wouldn't intercept it.
And say, hey, 44-9, 51-9, what's the difference?
16 of 31, 182 yards, but 3 interceptions for Mike Law.
We don't mean to make fun. We're certainly impressed with Mike Law.
Law sets up, throws down the middle.
Oh, nice one.
Beautiful catch in a crowd.
There's Ethier.
That's Ethier. And he finally came up with the big catch there. He's injured his right hand, though. 25-yard gain.
Now, this is really a nice play. Here you see a little rollout, which they'll do in general on their passing setup. Ethier right across the middle. He must have fell on that hand. It didn't look like he got hit with a helmet. Generally, that's how a receiver will hurt his hand.
You see him has already got that right hand bandaged a little bit.
Must have just hurt that thumb again.
And he's coming off. He's their best receiver, so you don't want to lose him in a situation like that. And we just spoke of how they had kept him kind of quiet and in check this afternoon, and he came up with a big catch for a first down that time. .11:01 the time remaining in our contest. 44-9 the score. And it's Nebraska-Omaha, and the sun has come out here in Omaha.
Nice shot, huh?
That
gives you an idea what it's like.
The nose guard. This is Thomas.
Ooh.
Punishing tight end, isn't he? Down to the 19-yard line.
Dennis Thomas.
Let's watch from the back of Kevin Hageman.
Well, they're just gonna, they've been going deep a little bit. They'll just take a little relaxing 8-yard gain here. Get the ball to Thomas. Thomas was a halfback as a freshman. He changed so dramatically in about 6 months in weight and strength that they moved him to tight end. They think he's going to be the best tight end since Link Ellickson, who played on that '79 team that went to the playoffs and eventually got beat by Youngstown State.
Incomplete. That was Real, the intended receiver. Just as well, he wouldn't have gained any yards. He might have even lost a yard had he held on to the ball.
Charlie, it might be worth mentioning for those people who haven't seen much Division II the scholarship difference between Division I and Division II, and I hope I've got it completely right, but I believe you get 45. And this conference only allows you 42 full scholarships. But there are very few players that are on full scholarship.
I don't think there are none on Nebraska-Omaha's team.
And in UNO, what they'll do is they'll give you a half a scholarship, and generally as you move up the depth charts, they'll increase your financial aid and make it easier to go to school.
Touchdown. And that was to Matt Hippe, 18 yards from Mike Law. So they're trying to make it respectable anyhow.
Well, Hippe's a renowned, excellent blocker from his wide receiver position. He was a defensive back in the spring. He's come over to the offense. He's got great hands. I'll tell you what, this pass is just thrown right on the button.
Certainly was. This is Ken Jensen in to attempt the point after. He missed one earlier. This kick is up and it is good. So with 9:55 remaining here in the ball game, we have a 44-16 score as they complete a 6-play, 67-yard drive. Charlie Neal and Steve Grody with you here in Omaha, Nebraska. The sun has arrived on this homecoming event for the Mavericks. This is Allen at the goal line. He's out to the 10, carrying the ball loosely, but gets across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. Allen on the return for Nebraska-Omaha. They lead 44-16.
Just to complete that thought on the scholarships, the Division I schools, Charlie, will get 95 full scholarships, and in general will offer full scholarships to all their players. Once again, you get 45 in Division II. The North Central Conference issues 42.
9:48 remaining in the ball game. Nebraska-Omaha with the ball. It's Scott Jamison, the second string quarterback, running the show right now. And again, some new faces in the lineup for UNO. And that was Jeff Hardick. Hardick, a freshman from Omaha, on the carry that last time, number 25.
Charlie, you know you've got a lot of good high school football teams in the Omaha area. I was looking at the local paper. I believe 5 of the top 10 teams in the state of Nebraska are from Omaha.
So that's not a, and they can come right here, do their thing. Well, this is Brian Nelson, and Nelson has a little trouble with the left side of that line, led by Todd Yackley, who's a junior for the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State.
Charlie, I'm going to tell you what else they do very well in the state of Nebraska. There are 144 schools, 4,700 plus participants in 8-man football.
I was going to say, that's
Nebraska. That's one of the big game here.
I think they lead the nation in 8-man football teams, the state of Nebraska. Jamison going to the air, throws, and he has it complete. And that is to the tight end. Up to the 41-yard line, Mancuso, 17-yard gain. And don't forget, following our game, you'll be seeing third-ranked Alabama traveling to Penn State to take on the Nittany Lions. Immediately following our contest right here on CBS.
Charlie might want to mention, too, that right up in Adams, Nebraska, a town just about 25 miles south of Lincoln, Ken Cook coaches the highest 8-man team up there. He's been 126, 14-1 in 15 seasons.
Not bad, huh?
And he says he's been to 11-man football games, and he says they're boring.
Yeah, no. Well, we talked about how the conference standings looked at the beginning of the contest, and Nebraska-Omaha will remain, as it looks right now, which I don't see them losing this contest, at least tied with St. Cloud State for the top spot, depending on what St. Cloud State does today. South Dakota State will drop to 2-2. Jamison throws, almost intercepted, incomplete. And we'll look at one of the other North Central scorers today.
Well,
there's if St. Cloud State loses. Augustana also in the conference. And there are some other scores. 15th ranked Iowa now with a 10-point bulge over Denny Green's Northwestern squad.
Stay right up there, Rob.
Jamison, since coming into the ball game, doesn't look too bad. He was 0 for 5 coming in. He's 5 for 6 for 75 yards. You know, these second stringers want to show what they can do when you get an opportunity.
Well, this is a big time for them. They've got first stringers that they continually try to beat out during practice sessions, and a good performance might be the difference.
Oh, that catch there, and paying for it after making the reception was Schaefer, Randy Schaefer.
There you take a look at it from the end zone camera, get an idea what the quarterback deals with as that rush comes at him. Takes his time. I'll tell you, Jamison does a very good job. He's very poised. He stays in the pocket. He is more of a drop back passer. And as I said, they have high hopes for this kid. They think that he can be a very, very good player.
And he is bigger than their starter, Naran. He's 6'2", 200. Naran is 6'1", 195.
Well, Naran's just a junior, though. I don't know if he'll move him out.
I think this is the first time we've seen Montandon punt today. He's a left-footed punter. In fact, it is the first time he's punted that I can remember. And here we have 6:17 remaining in the contest. 37-yard punt. And we'll be back here in Omaha, Nebraska. 44-16 the score. The Mavericks over the Jackrabbits. Some other scores from around the North Central Conference today. North Dakota over Mankato State. What does that do for them?
Well, both those teams are winless in conference play, so one of them should, unless they tie. It's funny, I was looking at the release and said one of these teams should get their first win, and I said, well, they have to, but I guess they could tie.
New quarterback in for South Dakota State. That's Gary Poland, and he has his first pass of the day complete. And the receiver really took a shot. That was real.
That was real.
Rod Reel took
real.
a real shot. Curtis Kelly. Watch the hit by Kelly, 16-yard gain.
Kelly served notice that the defensive backs have not stopped playing in this ball game. I think he was a little shaken up too.
There was no pun intended when I said that was real. That's the young man's name, spelled R-I-E-H-L. Poland again, going to the air, throws, has it complete to the tight end. Only a gain of about 2 or 3 on the play. No, that was not the tight end. That was the back coming out of the backfield, Scala, number 8. The junior. So they'll give him about 4-yard gain on that play. It'll be 2nd down and 6. The ball will be resting just shy of the 39-yard line. Poland again, going to the air. So the second string quarterbacks getting a chance to do their thing. This pass is incomplete.
Poland's pass intended for Jeff.
Charlie, you know, as we look at some of the scores from around the conference, with the league being probably as balanced as it ever has been, the one thing that they could be in danger of, even though they've got quite a few teams ranked in the top 10, remember, if they should knock each other off, if they don't take the league winner into the playoffs, no other team from the conference can qualify for the playoffs, correct?
Right. They have to at least pick the top team for any other team in the conference to qualify. Play action again. Poland rolling right. Sets up, throws.
Good pass.
Has a man out there, and it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Rick Sweet. Now that man wearing 85 there is actually also a right tackle
yeah.
Who's wearing 85 now as a tight end.
Well, he was a backup tight end in the spring, and they had a sophomore who did not return, broken ankle, Lee Hercock, so they had him moving back to tight end this week.
And Reeves is out with an ankle injury too, their other backup tight end.
But you know, the guy's been all over the place. He played 2 years as a backup linebacker. So
4th down. And there's a timeout called by South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits. A little bit, I guess, undecided as to what they wanted to do. 5:01, the time remaining in our contest. 44-16 the score. Nebraska-Omaha celebrating their 75th anniversary. Oh, there's a surprise for you, huh?
Well, Charlie, let me tell you, in the last 4 years, Nebraska's beat Oklahoma State by an average of 47-6. I think that score might change.
And punt it away. This is Allen. Some running room. Midfield. Still on his feet. 40.
He's
down the sideline. He stepped out at the 31. Stepped out at the 31-yard line. Otherwise, he's gone to the races. But, you know, Nebraska started slow against Syracuse, I think it was, and wound up beating them 64 to something. 31-yard punt, 39-yard return.
Allen does a very interesting thing. You picked it up. I don't know that he carries the ball loosely, but he seems to carry the ball when he's running with both hands until he decides whether he's going to run right or left. And then depending on where the defenders are coming at him, he'll switch the ball from one arm to another.
So at the 31-yard line, 1st down and 10 for the Mavericks. They lead 44-16. Don't forget, immediately following our game will be the Alabama-Penn State game coming your way right here on CBS. Sean Smith was the ball carrier the last time around.
Roush just pulls him down.
And we'll have updates on Texas and Oklahoma. That's a big ball game also. Texas ranked number 2 in the nation. A lot of new faces again. This is Bill Patterson on the carry, and Patterson is down inside the 30, inside the 30 to the 29, and there's a South Dakota North Dakota State score. It's all tied at 3 in the 2nd quarter.
Well, we've got University of South Dakota, University of North Dakota, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, University of Northern Colorado, and as you might guess, it's the North Central Conference.
Jamison had trouble getting the handle and fumbled it.
Jamison recovering his own fumble.
Well, we're trying to get, there he is.
With all of his crew around him, enough players.
I'll tell you, he
have a big party tonight, won't they?
Well, we talked to him yesterday. You know, he was in the Big 8 for how many years was it? 8.
Quite a few.
Years,
well, he played.
Years?
He played at Kansas. Played with Gale Sayers, and coached there for many years.
Been in that Big 8 conference for such a long time, and he loves it here. He really does. He likes the college atmosphere. He'll tell you, hey, this is probably what they had in mind when they invented intercollegiate athletics many, many years ago.
The Division II type football as we see it today.
Type plays where you say, hey, we got to let these college players get back up after they fall down without being hit and touch their knee. The argument against that, of course, is you get a situation where a kid falls down, he's getting back up, he's very vulnerable. A big hit could really lay a big injury on someone.
2:25 remaining in the contest. Poland back to pass. Flag is down far side.
Touchdown.
And it is caught for a touchdown by Tiefenthaler, the sophomore from Armour, South Dakota. But let's see what the penalty marker's about. They're down there celebrating, but let's wait.
Now it's going to be called back. It's in the area where there's generally illegal procedure.
It was a 34-yard touchdown pass, Poland to Tiefenthaler. And it's illegal procedure against South Dakota State. So it says whatever happens, bad will, or what can happen will. And
I'll tell you what, he put that ball right on the money.
He certainly did. He really did. Poland, impressive. And he's a senior, so, you know, he's no rookie by any means of the imagination. He was a transfer student from South Dakota Tech, where he was a 2-year starter. So he's had some playing experience. Ball will be brought back to the 39-yard line. It'll be 1st and 15 for the Jackrabbits. They trail 44-16 with 2:21 remaining. Incomplete. Scala was there. Also over there was number 89. That was Matt Hippie. So I'm not sure exactly who he was intended it for because it fell between the two receivers. He is 3 for 6, that is, Poland, so far since he's come into the contest. 57 yards.
And it is North Dakota State leading Mankato 7-3 in the second quarter.
Ooh, look at this, will you? Augustana, 28-19 winner last week over Mankato State.
Poland decides to run it on second down. He loses a yard. Back to the 40-yard line. Well, you know, we talk about the Chevrolet most valuable players, and we had a couple good ones today. There's Mike Law, who has not had a good day as far as his team is concerned, but he himself has been very, very impressive despite the fact that they were fighting to come from behind throughout the game. And Mark Gurley, you can't say enough for him. 4 touchdown runs, 9, 14, 8, and 6 yards. Our Chevrolet MVPs. This young man, Tiefenthaler, is a pretty impressive receiver since coming into the game, right?
Yeah, this is a pretty nice connection, isn't it? I don't think they'll have to be worried should Law go down.
And we talked about the players, Chevrolet MVPs. Gurley, I mentioned the touchdowns that he'd scored and the distances. Law, 19 of 35, 233 yards, a touchdown. He also threw 3 interceptions, ran 8 times for 87 yards. And a check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. And that pass falls incomplete by Poland on 4th down, so the ball will go over to Nebraska-Omaha with 1:23 remaining. I want to thank Roger Riley, our very capable statistician, for a fine job this afternoon, and Bob Hansen, who hopes he has a very successful basketball year here at Nebraska-Omaha, for keeping us informed on who was doing what on the field as our capable spotter.
And I keep having to remind Bob that it was my older brother, my younger brother, who coach and play at Wright State University, who won the Division II national championship last year.
He remembers well, doesn't he?
And my brother told me about the basketball program here. He said they just beat you up. They bring in all those big farm boys and beat you up and wear you down, and they're not very nice to you out here.
This is Mark Everett on the carry, and it's a flag down. Everett gets the ball out to the 40-yard line. 1:17 the time remaining here. 44-16 is our score. And this is going to go against Nebraska-Omaha, whose record will go to 5-1 overall. They'll be undefeated in conference play, 4-0. And Coach Buda will increase his career record to 39-21. Not bad. He's only lost 5 games here at home in his 6 years as head coach. He's had only 1 losing season since coming here, and that was 1981 when they went 5-6. And they went 5-6 overall back in 1982. In 81, make that 81. In 80, they were 7-3. 79, 8-3. His first year, they were 8-3. He took over a program which, in the year before he came here, in 1977, were 3-6-2. So in 1 year, he turned them around to an 8-3 ball team. And he continues to draw the respect of the people in the Omaha area.
Did he tell you all that?
Well, not a happy day for the team from Brookings, South Dakota. They'll have that long bus ride back home tonight, I'm sure.
And boy, and like I said, when you can only bring 45 people on the road and you get beat like this, you can't get off the field and rest either.
But when you look at the score, you will be amazed. First of all, we'll tell you about the Alabama-Penn State game coming up immediately following this contest right here on CBS. We want you to stay tuned for that one. It should be a doozy, huh? Penn State trying to cure some of its ills that plagued them early on in the season. But when you look at the total yards in today's game, you'll be amazed. South Dakota State, 465. Nebraska-Omaha, 499. Not that much difference, but the scoreboard, 28-point differential on the scoreboard. And this one's almost intercepted by South Dakota State. The pass intended for Allen from Jamison. 50 seconds remaining. The clock stops. So only 34 yards difference in total offensive yards, but 28 points difference on the scoreboard. So all of those yards mean nothing if you don't score points, does it?
Don't mean a thing, do they?
They got right to the door a couple of times and just couldn't punch it over.
Well, let's talk about that game last week when South Dakota State got their first defeat. Now there were three big calls. The one, which is, you and I watched the film, it was a touchdown that was nullified after a kid caught the ball on the 4-yard line, ran the ball into the end zone, got hit at the goal line, fumbled it, came back down with it, and they called the pass incomplete. At that stage, they kicked the field goal. At that stage of the ball game, that would have made it 21-13. Instead, it was 21-9. Later in the game, they had an offensive pass interference call that was very questionable in the end zone on a 4th down situation, which gave the ball to the opponents. And I get the impression that it may have taken a little wind out of this ball club.
Well,
they came back and scored and went ahead, and then lost the game in the closing minutes.
You're right. It may have taken the wind out of them last week, but they have to put all of that behind them and get ready for your next opponent, because what happened today, I'm sure you can't say really you can't really relive and live in the past and worry about what happened last week, because the season continues to go on and you have to get ready to play and win the rest of your game.
I think that's what the coach says, what you just said. I think the reality of the situation is that they just were not ready to play today. Hensel told me that coming into the game, that they were concerned. They're not a good second half of the year ball club, and I guess you have to wonder if in fact that pattern is going to continue now. We're entering the second half of the season. They've worked harder at practice. They're probably a better conditioned ball club. They work to the point where they want the players to feel like the game day is a holiday.
There you see the time remaining.
They're from a coaching standpoint, trying everything they can think of to make sure that this second half pitfall doesn't happen again.
Boy, what a punt that time. Montandon with a great punt. And I'll tell you, a 48-yard punt, 5-yard return for Gary Fisher. 24 seconds remaining in the contest, but South Dakota State, they've been their own worst enemy. 5 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles. That can hurt you. Coming into the game, they had lost the ball 3 times by way of fumbles. They had thrown 8 interceptions for a total of 11 on the year. 5 of them, 5 more today. That gives them 16 turnovers for the season. Poland throws incomplete. 19 seconds, the time remaining in the contest.
Poland pass intended for Hippie.
For Steve Grody, this has been Charlie Neal. 19 seconds remaining. Coming up next, don't forget, more NCAA football. It'll be the 3rd-ranked Crimson Tide of Alabama taking on the Penn State Nittany Lions in part 2 of our CBS doubleheader. Stay tuned for that game. 19 seconds remaining in this one. 44-16 the score. Nebraska-Omaha will win it here. This is their 75th anniversary, and this is also their homecoming. Not a bad day for them. Poland throws, and he has it complete to Hippie on the far side. He runs out of bounds. It stops the clock with 13 seconds remaining. A 13-yard gain.
Out of bounds. First down for the Jackrabbits.
So they just go back to Brookins and try to put the pieces together and find out what they can do to get ready for next week.
They gotta find all the King's horses and all the King's men and hope they can put it back together again.
Almost intercepted. Tiefenthaler was the intended receiver.
Poland's pass broken up by Baker.
We'll look at it once again. Baker, I believe, was the man who broke it up.
Well, they'll continue to play hard. I guess one thing that we had to be impressed with, both of the offensive lines did a pretty decent job of pass protection today.
They certainly did. They really did. You didn't see a whole lot of pressure applied to either quarterback.
You saw Law scramble a lot, but that's more out of habit and by design than out of the fact that he got rushed so intensely. Well, this should be it.
And they air it out way down.
He might get it.
Incomplete. He dropped it as the game comes to an end. Tiefenthaler cannot hold on to the bomb from Poland. That's, again, the end of the contest. Coming up next, more NCAA football as the third-ranked Crimson Tide of Alabama take on the Penn State Nittany Lions, part 2 of our CBS doubleheader. Once again, for Steve Gertie, this is Charlie Neal. The final score is Nebraska-Omaha 44, South Dakota State 16. NCAA football has been a presentation of CBS Sports.